This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 108. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card. We'll talk favorite underdogs, Degen Props of the night, and then we'll close it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Last week, the Thunder came back in full effect. All right, it was a loud boom with Rinya the Ritter getting the win as the Savage underdog lock to put me at 6 out of the last 7 weeks winning with the lock, all plus money. So, of course, I'm riding high with confidence into UFC Vegas 108. And I sat on what I was going to officially make as my lock for a little while. I didn't rush it, okay? I was debating between dropping a parlay lock city or going straight underdog money line. And my heart said, Savage dog lock once again. At the apex, I see an underdog on this card that I think is going to come to bite like a damn pit bull. All right. So without further ado, the lock of the week.
Let me present the man himself, the Italian stallion AJ DeVito with this week's lock.
Ketlen Souza at plus 180 to beat Piera Rodriguez is going to be my lock for this card. I believe in the Brazilian Savage, and she's in a matchup that I like for her. Piera Rodriguez brings a bit of a takedown threat, but I'd consider her a tad bit of an overrated wrestler. Yes, she has an ability to get fights to the ground, but she doesn't have a great top control game. She has essentially zero submission threats, has not won a fight by submission, nor does she attempt submissions either. It's more control from the top, and then opponents are going to work back up to their feet. Ketlen Souza has a pretty good get-up game, and I think her improved takedown defense since her UFC debut is going to end up being a big difference maker. And when I look at the matchup, in the striking, though Piera Rodriguez has forward pressure, aggressiveness, and, relatively good kickboxing, more of a Muay Thai-based striking, but okay with the punches, decent kicks. A lot of it is looking to close the gap, kind of smother, and honestly, at times, in a negative manner, overly smothering her punch combinations. Souza is the sharper striker. She's the more powerful puncher. She's got better footwork, and I think simply put, she's just better on the feet. And then when I look at the differential in grappling, when they actually hit the mat, though I could see Rodriguez ending up in top position, I believe Ketlen Souza is going to have an ability to scramble back up to her feet. On top of that, not having much of a submission threat from top position, essentially zero, at least statistically speaking, I think Ketlen Souza is chilling if they hit the ground, and I think she's going to burst up pretty fast. I don't see Rodriguez with an ability to just hold her down and beat her up. I think if it's a takedown, it's more of like a takedown to get up. And then I think Souza is going to be ripping big punch combinations. And add in the factor that Souza's become kind of a sprawl and brawl type of fighter with a really good boxing ability, a clear-cut punch speed advantage, more knockout power. I think she rips beautiful hooks. And I think her confidence right now, even coming off of a loss, is got to be high because she gave Angela Hill a legit run for her money last time, losing a hard-fought decision, and the lines in that fight were near even. And Angela Hill has fought literally everyone as far as top women's strawweights go. And now she's fighting Piera Rodriguez, who's 10-2 as a pro. And you know what? I think she's pretty decent. Last fight, she took on the undefeated Josephine Knudsen, and she controlled her, backed her up, pressed her against the cage, and won a hard-fought decision. Knudsen ended up getting released from the UFC, so not a ton of hype on Knudsen. And Knudsen doesn't have the pop of Souza. She doesn't have the dog in her that Souza has neither. Fight before that, it was the DQ against Carnelossi. We'll call that irrelevant at this point, but it did show in moments of pressure, there can be a wilt factor from Piera Rodriguez because she was winning that fight, and then she drops a headbutt, which is just stupid, 2 of them, and then ends up losing by disqualification. Fight before that, it was a little over 2 years ago, but it's something to think about. Jillian Robertson beat her by submission, and that showed that Piera Rodriguez, though she has a bit of wrestling pressure and control, doesn't have this super crafty or well-rounded grappling game. When you look at Ketlen Souza's UFC debut, it was a quick submission loss over 2 years ago against Corinne Silva. She got caught in a knee bar. Silva, bigger girl, fighting in the top 10 at 125, caught her with the knee bar. I'm sure Souza's improved on the ground since then, and I've seen the grappling improvements since then. I mean, yeah, Angela Hill with a couple of like well-timed takedowns, but then it was immediately back up to the feet for Souza. And then when you look at the striking, it was competitive, but Angela Hill's fast. Angela Hill's a quick striker on the feet. Souza is going to have the speed advantage on Rodriguez for sure, and she punches harder. I think Ketlen Souza is pretty good. She's in her prime right now, nearly 30. Rodriguez also prime, to be fair, at 32. As far as physicality, we got 5'3" to 5'3", 63.5-inch reach for Rodriguez to 63 of Souza. So a half-inch reach advantage for Piera Rodriguez in the spot. She ain't going to do anything with it. She doesn't work a stinging jab from the outside. She's going to look to close the gap, and I think she's going to get in a firefight. Ketlen Souza should be able to land better punches. Maybe Piera Rodriguez times a couple of takedowns throughout the fight, but I think Souza really finds her rhythm come round number 2 and starts lighting Piera Rodriguez up on the feet with the bigger punches. And you can't doubt Souza's ground skills nearly as much as you once could. I mean, she does have 2 wins by submission. She got the club and sub over Yasmin Haragi. She's got legit power in her hands, and I think she's a more explosive athlete than Piera Rodriguez, the better striker, and should be capable on the floor, and maybe even jiu-jitsu-wise better than Piera Rodriguez. So my pick for this fight is Ketlen Souza to win as an underdog. She's going to be my savage dog lock this week, plus 182. I am shocked by the disparity in the line. I'm literally shocked. I mean, if you look at open, it was 3-1 for Piera Rodriguez. I can't really fathom that. I think at worst, you could have Piera as a slight favorite here, but to say that she's going to run through Ketlen Souza, I think there is a misconception about the grappling skill set that Piera Rodriguez possesses. She has a pressure-based skill set and a bit of takedown threat, but no top control, no issue, especially with Ketlen Souza's improved get-up game and improved takedown defense with the strike advantage. I think Souza's going to be looking real good on the feet, landing big shots, and I think she's going to get this fight done. Probably a competitive and hard-fought decision. Let me pop out the Zins. Shout out to him. But I do think Souza lands more significant shots. I think she shows levels in the stand-up game. Her striking's pretty damn good, and I see her as somebody to watch in this women's strawweight division. Rodriguez is a tough out for sure, who's going to look to bring pressure, but no way in hell should Piera Rodriguez be over a 2-1 line against Ketlen Souza. At worst, it should be minus 150 for Piera to like plus 130 for the side of Souza. But you're giving me plus 182? That's crazy. I can't overlook it at all. I mean, the lines have started out wide for Piera, got closer, now gotten wider throughout the week. And I disagree with that Piera Rodriguez love. I think the savage underdog is coming through barking and biting hard. I'm going with the Brazilian Ketlen Souza. Last week, I went with another Brazilian savage woman, Tabitha Ritchie, to win, and she was an underdog, and she got the TKO. Now I'm going Ketlen Souza in this spot to get it done. Just money line it. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to chase. You can go decision prop if you felt, oh, I need to, plus 250. Maybe she lands a big knockout punch, plus 675. But why? Why take that risk when I got plus 182 and I don't have to worry about method of victory? Shit, Piera Rodriguez might get pissed off and throw a headbutt out there, and then she ends up getting disqualified, and Ketlen Souza wins by DQ, and you're kicking yourself because you decided to bet the decision or you decided to bet the knockout prop. Screw that. Money line, plus 182. Give me the savage dog lock, Ketlen Souza, to take it home at UFC Vegas 108. I'm feeling good about the Apex. Let's get 7 out of 8. All right? Let's go. Let's keep the thunder rolling, and let's put it back-to-back weeks with savage underdog locks. We're making it happen. All right? There it is, people. I want to jump to the next section. Make sure you hit the likes. You can hear my enthusiasm and excitement in my voice. All right? So smash the likes. If it's your first time here, welcome. Subscribe to the channel. Let's talk my most confident picks on the card, some of which are going to be some ugly lines. I'll bring 4 up on the screen now, but I'll also have a bonus at the end. First up, Austin Bashi. Yeah, Austin Bashi should win. I tried to look for a bit of a pathway for John Giannis, watching some recent fights, And even though I feel like he's a gritty striker, kind of a scrappy brawler, southpaw type of fighter who brings decent, pressure combinations and actually rips his shots pretty nicely. I'd say his boxing game's not bad at all, and he rips to the body too. He's a fun brawler. He has shown holes in his jiu-jitsu game. He has shown an ability to be taken down by the opposition, and he's given up his back. Even in his most recent fight against ex-UFC fighter Nick Aguirre, he gave his back up, even though, he fought through a hard-fought 4-round KO win, which you got to, stand on respect for. There was still bad moments for him on the ground. And then if you look, Gabriel Anderley was able to submit him back in 2024, which was about March. So, year and a half-ish ago. Wanderlei ended up getting a rear naked choke. Wanderlei's got good jiu-jitsu. But I think that Austin Bashi is going to have a huge grappling advantage in this fight. He is a 6-1 favorite, and he should be. He should be able to get this fight to the ground. He should be able to dominate John Giannis. Giannis coming in on short notice. He did fight recently, though, May 25th, and he had a fight scheduled for August 22nd. So I expect him to be in relatively good shape. I don't think that's going to be enough, and I do feel as though he's going to end up taking, an unfortunate L here in this spot. Now, something interesting to note, we've seen the side of John Giannis fight at bantamweight before. Now he's up fighting Bashi in the featherweight division. Bashi's not the biggest featherweight. He's 5'6". He's still going to be 2 inches shorter, but he does have a good physicality. He knows how to impose his will with his grappling onslaught, and I don't think he's a bad striker either. I expect Austin Bashi to dominate and win by submission. Now, I have scoured the web. I even went on ChatGPT agent mode to try and find the submission line. As of now, it's not out yet. But I do believe Bashi is going to win this fight by submission. 6-1 money line, probably going to be around -150 for the submission line too. But ultimately, it should be Austin Bashi taking it home in dominant fashion. He's a lock on this card, and I'm picking him to get his first UFC win here. Debut was against C-Rod. You know what? Lost to the prospect killer. In this one here, I think he can take out, more of a mid-caliber guy coming on off the regional scene. Nice 3-fight win streak, and he demands respect, but he ain't beating Austin Bashi. So Bashi to win. Let's keep going. Next one, we got Kevin Vallejos. Listen, he's supposed to be the chosen one. He's supposed to be the chosen one. His one loss is against John Silva. He got outstruck, but John Silva's a monster. Look what John Silva's done in the UFC. He's fighting Diego Lopez at Noche in the main event. Kevin Vallejos on a 4-fight win streak. After that loss to John Silva, he didn't sit on the sidelines and cry about it. He fought 3 months later and he got a win. Then he fought again 3 months later and got a win. And then got the Contender Series fight. Nice knockout. Big knockout in the UFC debut. Vallejos is a dangerous power striker. El Chino, bringing that pride that Marcos Maidana brought into the boxing ring. He's bringing it into the damn cage here. Danny Silva's not bad, though. I want to say some positive things. Danny Silva, stance switch hitter. Pretty smooth on the feet, good boxing ability, relatively quick. And I'd say that he's a solid fighter, but ultimately I think Vallejos is going to have a big, significant strike advantage. He gets to the target more accurately and with damn more power. And I think he's probably going to end up knocking Danny Silva out by slowly but surely pressing him towards the cage. Not pressing him in the clinch, but pressing him with footwork and forward pressure. And then I expect him to cut angles and cut the cage off and rip some big combinations, body, head, things of that magnitude. And I think Danny Silva is going to end up getting put out. Nonetheless, if they did go 3 rounds, I think Vallejos is ready for a hard 3-rounder as well. And I think he's going to beat up Danny Silva in this one. This is no joke of a sophomore appearance in the UFC because Kevin Vallejos 1-0 in the octagon, Danny Silva 2-0 in the UFC. They're not feeding him cans. They're looking to test Vallejos off rip. 23-year-old prospect versus 28-year-old prospect. Silva's still a good prospect, and he's coming into his prime now. And Vallejos, young at 23, but I feel like he has an ability beyond his years of age, and I feel like he's a future top 10 fighter. And he's got the height for it. 5'7", I'm telling you, that's like the magical height. 5'6", 5'7", that's money zone for this featherweight division. And I think Vallejos should probably knock Danny out. Now, as far as the odds, yes, he's a 4-1 favorite. It's wide. I feel like you got to favor the KO. It's -105, which is not a great line betting-wise, but, likelihood of success-wise, I think it hits. I would predict that he lands more significant strikes. Maybe if you're looking to play something like that. I don't know the number on some of those, prop only sites like Prize Picks and whatnot, what the significant strike number will be, depending upon if Danny Silva's chin holds up, whether or not those numbers hit. I guess Friday, I hope that they, release a slew of them here where I can see. I'd have to dig deeper. But if there is like does he land more than 20 significant strikes? Absolutely. I think he gets a knockout, but I don't think it's a one-punch KO. I think it's going to be some big strikes landed, punches and kicks. I think he's going to slowly but surely pick apart Danny Silva and then put him away. Maybe a second-round KO, something like that. If he got a first-round KO, that'd be pretty badass. But I do feel like Danny Silva's good, and I feel like Silva's going to be on that bicycle trying to move. But eventually, Vallejos is cutting that cage off and dropping the hammers on him. So the pick is Vallejos. The pick is KO. And I think he is one to most certainly watch here in this UFC featherweight division. I feel like he's a damn problem. I feel like, yeah, not maybe in, his second UFC fight, ready to break into the top 10 or anything like that. But I do feel like down the line, maybe, 3 fights down the line, he could be 25 years old, breaking into the top 15 or something like that, maybe younger. I don't know what the UFC does with him. If he goes out and bullies Danny Silva and puts him away with ease, I got to take a sip of some tea. Then I could see them blessing him with something major. Vallejos, confident pick, as you guys probably knew. Next up, Estevam Ribovics to get it done. I am picking him to get the win over Elves Brenner. Brenner's ground skills are, I don't want to say a question mark around this fight, but we've seen Ribovics get taken down a bit. He got taken down like 11 times in his UFC debut. I do believe he's gotten a lot better at takedown defense. His striking is nice. He's been fighting a lot of strikers. Very easily could have got that decision over Nasrat Haqparast, who's an absolute gamer at this point with a ton of UFC experience and a sick win streak to his credit. And Ribovics still, a developing prospect, to go out and a lot of people's eyes beat Nasrat, unfortunately not getting on the cards. And now they give him Elves Brenner, who's a fun brawler. Another guy in his 20s, 27-year-old Brenner, 29-year-old Ribovics. The problem with Brenner is he's a little bit too wild of a brawler, a little bit sluggish with his shots, does have power, does rip big shots, and is willing to sit in the pocket and trade, but also squares up and leaves himself open. The shoot that box team, though they have good jiu-jitsu, they like to go out and strike, man. The base of their styles are normally like, kickboxing with submission ability. Like even Charlie O, he likes to bang on the feet, and that's exactly what Brenner does. He likes to bang on the feet. He likes to mix it up. He likes to throw hard shots, and he likes to engage in a bit of a brawl. On the side of Estevam Ribovics, I see better boxing. I see a punch speed advantage. I see a pressure edge, and I think he's going to be the better striker in this one, and I don't feel like Brenner's submitting him. Brenner could threaten with a takedown or two. He does have pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I don't know if he's got the fight IQ to go to it. I feel like Brenner is kind of one of those born and bred brawlers, man. Certain guys, even if they have a skill set in grappling, they just prefer to throw it to the side and focus on banging in a back and forth war. And that's kind of what I see here for the side of Elves Brenner. And he's fighting a good pressure-based striker with fast hands and explosive combinations. I think it's a dog fight. I think it's a potential fight of the night. And I do think it's an Estevam Ribovics big W income. And he's minus 250. Brenner at plus 210. If it goes over 1.5, it's minus 260. I'd say that's live. Initial instinct was Ribovics to win a hard-fought decision. It's plus 185. But I will say Brenner does have a vulnerability to getting hit with big shots, his willingness to engage in warfare. Last time he got destroyed by Yoel Alvarez, and he really, refused to enter the grappling game. To be fair, he couldn't really land the takedowns there. And that kind of gives me hope that Ribovics is also stopping those takedowns. Power edge Ribovics, I would say. Brenner's willingness to brawl might get him knocked out. Ribovics by KO is plus 140, and I do feel as though Brenner's style is ballistic pressure. The pick has got to be Ribovics. Though he's coming off an on-paper loss, I feel like he's got good momentum in his favor because it was a split decision with Nasrat. Could have gone either way, whereas Brenner on the other side takes the bad loss to Yoel Alvarez almost a year ago. Before that, he lost to Mitabek Orbay in a pretty back-and-forth fight, but still ultimately ends up taking an L. And now he's fighting a dangerous multi-shot combination striker who brings good pressure and I feel like is really developing nicely. The call has got to be Ribovics to win, and it might be a KO, but I do favor the decision or KO side ultimately. And, money line, obviously the best side, though he's, minus 250. It's a bit of a fat favorite, one to parlay. And we'll talk parlays at the end and give it, a deeper dive. But Estevam Ribovics to take it home, confident pick. Next up, Tatsuro Taira. I have to be confident in him. He was scheduled to fight Amir Albazi in this spot. Now he fights Hyun-Sung Park. I don't think this is an easy matchup against Park, but I do think Taira has a clear-cut advantage in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I look at the grappling abilities, the takedown threat, also the fact that we have never seen Park really fight anyone good. He went 3 rounds with Sukyuk Choi in his debut, and there was a couple moments where he was on his back, he was off balance, he was pushed, backwards and whatnot. Still got a submission finish. It still looked good in the fight. And then second fight, he takes on Shannon Ross, who's not very good, and he picked him apart, destroyed him. Most recently, he looked like a certified killer against Carlos Hernandez, but to be fair, it was a Carlos Hernandez who had been knocked out by Tatsuro Taira a little while before. And he did get a real competitive win over Naim Jargal, Tumen Dumbaron, put up a good fight with Ray Saruya. But, Tumen Dumbaron, Ray Saruya, and then Park, Taira, different levels. Taira knocked him out in the second round. Park submitted him in round 1. He honestly cut through him like fucking hot butter. I do believe that Tatsuro Taira is going to be at a disadvantage in the pocket with boxing. I think Park probably rips better punch combinations and has quicker hands from close range. But what Park does not have on his side is the reach. More of, the stockier, shorter build. Granted, they're the same height, but I'm talking about the arm length. 5'7", 66-inch reach, 5'7", 70-inch reach. Taira, deceptively good striking for a guy known for his jiu-jitsu skills, is coming off of a 5-round war with Brandon Royval, fight before that ended up beating Alex Perez. I don't think this is a walk in the park against Hyun-Sung Park, no pun intended, but I do think Taira ends up coming out on the right side in a back-and-forth fight. I think Taira could end up winning a hard-fought decision because we've yet to see Park in a high-level spot like this, or potentially Taira taking that Park back and strangling him. Taira's jiu-jitsu skills are incredibly high level. He's 25 years old, hasn't fought in 9 months. I'm expecting massive improvements. I mean, yeah, he lost the striking battle to Royval, but look in the back and forth between Van and Royval on the feet. I think Taira's good to go in this one. Not an easy fight by any means, and he's a wide favorite at minus 355. I don't love the lines, but I do love Tatsuro Taira, and I'm picking him to get it done. I lean towards this fight at least going over a round and a half, which is minus 275. I feel like decision, man. I feel like we might be going all 5, but we don't know about Park's gas tank. There's so many intangibles of what ifs. Taira by sub is plus 140. Taira by decision is plus 215. I think both could be live methods of victory. Ultimately, I think Tatsuro Taira is going to have better jiu-jitsu and better takedowns. I do think he eventually gets Park into an uncomfortable position on the mat. Taira has an extremely knowledgeable back control game that is like very few. And if he gets to the back of Park, that could spell trouble. Definitely feel as though a rear naked strangle is live for the side of Taira. And then in the striking department, Park, he can rip pretty good punches for sure. He can box really well. He's nice on the feet. I mean, I got nothing bad to say. I think Park's a great prospect. I think Park is on fire. He's 10-0. We got Japan's best flyweight versus Korea's best flyweight. 10-0, 16-1. I got to favor the more battle-tested Tatsuro Taira, but that doesn't mean Park doesn't have a bright future in that top 10. I just think right now it's Taira's time, and I'm picking him to get it done. So main event, Taira, confident pick to pull through. Now, I did tell you guys I'm going to bring one more up because I didn't want to leave you with 4 chalky lines. I wanted one that was a little closer. Pulyaev. There he is. Pulyaev. What's up, Pulyaev? Andrey Pulyaev is the slicker striker. Andrey Pulyaev, I think, is defensively sound and grappling enough so to deal with Nick Klein. Nick Klein, more of a flat-footed striker, does bring good physicality and strong clinch pressure and grappling threats, but I think that Pulyaev is sound in the defensive manner as far as grappling goes and takedown defense. And I think he is going to have faster stand-up. I think he's going to be a lot slicker with his punches. He picks his shot pretty well. He's accurate on the feet, and I think he's clean, man. And I think he's going to end up catching Nick Klein with some big shots. Klein, both of his losses are KO losses. I could see him having early success against Pulyaev here and then put away with some stinging punch combinations. Could see Pulyaev winning a hard-fought decision as well. Expect Pulyaev's speed and and striking capabilities to be a big difference maker as Klein looks to engage in the grappling. Ultimately, I like Pulyev's frame, 6'4" with a 78.5-inch reach. Klein's pretty long, though, for a guy who's, 6'1". He's got a 77-inch reach, which is pretty good. But I think that striking wise, Pulyev's a lot better, and I'm not overly confident in Klein's ability to get this fight to the ground, nor submit an Andrey Pulyaev if they do go to the ground. So the call is going to be Pulyaev. He's minus 150. I would just money line it. I think a KO is possible. Finally getting over this cold, guys, but I have one last cough for you savages. Pulyaev by KO plus 180. Pulyaev by decision plus 300. Both are live methods. Klein, both of his losses are knockout. Pulyev's got pretty quick punch ability, but he could win a hard-fought decision and avoid the Klein pressure. So expect it to be an interesting matchup. I would just go money line if you're going to throw down on this one or you're going to parlay up this one. I think it's close enough to do so. At open, the odds have Pulyaev at plus 145. I don't think he should be a dog. Both guys own one in the UFC. Klein, good moments earlier against Mansour Abdulmalik, but then got knocked out. Pulyaev lost a decision to the crafty Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm going to pick the Pulyaev side, but it ain't going to be easy. All right? Those are the most confident picks. I do want to jump to the next section, and I want to discuss my next favorite underdog. Obviously, we have Ketlen Souza. I do not like this dog as much as Ketlen Souza, which is why she's not a lock. But I think Nora Cornell is live to win. Don't sleep on Nora Cornell. She's the more aggressive striker. She's the nastier striker, and she fights at a higher pace. Corral Hosa at times gets into this habit of fighting almost in like a sparring rhythm. Against Eileen Perez, she didn't show any dog. I didn't like that. Decent teeps from the outside, decent straight shots, but not super quick. We have, the striking background for Cornell coming from Muay Thai. She's pretty strong in the clinch and has decent pressure on the inside. Nasty combinations too, and I think an ability to land power shots and hooks specifically. As we get more into the close range, I think Cornell's going to have a big edge over Corral Hosa. Simply, I think Corral Hosa is just a bit too passive, whereas Cornell's going to be looking to rip big shots, and I think she's going to make it a dirty dog fight. So I really do favor the side of Cornell to win. I don't think Hosa brings a substantial grappling threat. The problem with Cornell, pay attention to weigh-ins. She was 138 last fight. She missed weight by 2 pounds. If she makes weight here and looks like shit on the scale, that could mean a recipe for disaster, bad performance incoming. Maybe it's better if she misses weight for the underdog pick. But ultimately, it's a fight that you want to look at the weigh-ins a little bit more in depth. But I do think Cornell should do enough to get her hand raised. I feel like she could land some big punch combinations. I think she could back Hosa up against the cage. I think she outstrikes her in a competitive one. I have a hard time envisioning Hosa just like keeping Cornell at range with straights and picking her apart. I don't expect that to happen. I expect Nora Cornell to push towards pressure, put the foot on the gas pedal a bit, rip some big shots on the feet, back Hosa up, land better hooks. And in a dirtier and like dog heavy fight, I think Cornell will be the one that gets her hand raised. So my pick, Nora Cornell, she's a dog in this spot sitting around the plus 155 range. I am anticipating a hard fought decision. Decision win for the side of Nora Cornell sits at plus 175. And, I don't know what the spread is at the moment. No, I do. Cornell spread minus 195. I do think she wins at least a round. I could see it being within the 3.5 point margin. So maybe the Cornell spread if you don't like the money line, because I don't see Hosa knocking her out, submitting her, or just cleaning her clock for 3 rounds. I got to go with the upside of Cornell. Even her loss in the Cavalcanti fight was a hard fought split decision, and Cavalcanti is the only girl to beat her in MMA. Hosa, she's been trading wins and losses. I guess she's due for a win, but I don't believe in that bullshit. Last fight, the Perez uninspiring performance, beat Kianzad, but Kianzad's not that good. Lost to Aldana in a pretty good back and forth fight. The Yana Santos split decision was okay. Norma Dumont was able to control her. I think Nora Cornell, more dog in her, posts her on the right side, 29-28. Cornell, the pick to win. All right, listen. I want to jump to the Degen Props of the night, which is honestly just the savage overs of the night. I like 2 overs on this card. They jumped out to me right away. It's Souza Rodriguez over 2.5 at minus 325. I have Ketlen Souza. I'd rather go the money line underdog. If she gets a knockout, I won't worry about it. But I feel as though decision is quite live there. Also, Hosa Cornell over 2.5 at minus 500. Both of those seem like very likely overs. Now, I tried to convince myself of a couple of props, but the only one that I think might be fun for the Degen backers, Gore by KO. My pick is Rodolfo Vieira to win, but I could see Vieira getting caught on the feet, gassing and getting knocked out. So plus 600 for Tresean Gore KO doesn't seem like a terrible pick. And then the other one, as far as the Degen side, Felipe Bunes is a plus 360 underdog. He could be live for a third round finish. Bunes wins in round number 3 is upwards of plus 2,800. Maybe we see Estevam gassed and then choked out or TKO'd in that third and final round. He's taking the fight on short notice. He's got gas tank issues. He's not putting the most confident picks because, yes, he's great in the first 2. He is shit in round 3, and he's taking on a Bunes who's got a high level of jiu-jitsu, I believe second degree black belt, trains with the Pitbull brothers, and, you know, is probably more of a live dog than the plus 360 line will have you believe in. Though I don't think Bunes has the greatest gas tank, and he's never won a fight in the third round before. But if he is to do it, late finish of a gassed Estevam, Bunes takes his back and chokes him out, plus 2,800. If you're looking to chase just big plus money and you're like, yo, the Savage dog lock's not enough for me, I need more, well, there you go. Good luck to you. And then, I don't know, this next one is very much an I don't know call, but I was discussing it with Finch, man, and I felt like I wanted to bring it up for you guys. Duncan Rebcki over 1.5 is minus 170. I don't know on that one. You know what? I'm just mentioning it just because I know he likes it. And I thought, oh, yeah, I could see it. If Rebcki starts falling apart, I feel like over 1.5 might hit. But I could also see Duncan put away. So under 1.5 at plus 130 could also be live. So essentially, I'm like negating my calls there. I'm not calling either one. I'm not personally feeling the bets on either one. Maybe after weigh-ins, I'll think something different. But right now, that's kind of what I'm feeling for the prop betting side outside of, you know, what we already talked about. I feel like there's, you know, better bets to be made. And you guys know, I like the money lines. I like the parlays. I think I got some badass calls. And I want to jump to everybody's favorite section, mine included. Let's talk the damn parlays. And if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. At the top, safe but boring. Listen, it's UFC Vegas 108. So we got to keep it on the slightly more conservative side. Vallejos and Ribovics should both win. Minus 137 for the safe but boring. I say W. I think it cashes. Now, if you want to throw 2 overs in the mix with Taira at minus 107, I think it's live to come through. Confidence levels have to be relatively high on, you know, these first 2. Honestly, in all of them. Down below, the big 3, not the basketball league, the parlay. Vallejos, Bashi, and Ribovics. 3 confident picks on the card that I believe come through at plus 102. I say the big 3 is live to cash. Now go one below. Vallejos, Bashi, Ribovics, and the Souza Rodriguez over 2.5 at plus 155. I think this is a savage W. It brings the big 3 with a good over. Keep on running the foursome, all right? Threesome's not enough. You need 4. Ribovics, Pulyaev, Souza Rodriguez over 2.5, and Rosa Corno at plus 244. Some variety to the fighters that I'm mixing in, you know, just because I don't want to have everything locked in with one fighter. You know what I'm saying? So got to give a few more shakes a chance up in this one. I'm talking foursome. Now I'm talking shakes. Jesus, I better jump to the next one. Nearly 3-1 love. We got Taira, Vallejos, Bashi, Ribovics, Souza Rodriguez over 2.5, and the Rosa Corno over 2.5. It should probably hit. I think it does. Then the Savage 3 I like more. Vallejos, Ribovics, plus the Savage underdog lock of Ketlen Souza at plus 385. This is a Savage 3-leg parlay. I like that a ton. And then the Savage down below, SVG, because I had to abbreviate it. We got Taira, Vallejos, Bashi, Ribovics, Pulyaev, the Souza Rodriguez over 2.5, and Rosa Cornels over 2.5 at plus 552. But we got to keep bringing heat. Doggy style below it. Souza, Taira, Vallejos, Bashi, Ribovics, and the Rosa Cornel over 2.5. You see what I did there? I added the Savage side of Souza to win on the slate, and I took out the Pulyaev side at close money. Plus 769 for the doggy style. We hit last week with doggy style, Bushkov and DeRitter as underdogs, the plus 551 range, I believe. Now we got plus 769. Let's do it again. And then down below, the Degen Savage play. All right, drum roll. Souza, Taira, Vallejos, Bashi, Ribovics, Pulyaev, and Rosa Corno over 2.5 plus 1348. So what do? We added Pulyaev on the lineup. We had to. We had to put Pulyaev in the slate. We had to hope for the best. Now, I don't have the Bashi sub line yet. I do want to create a prop betting parlay, but I think I'm going to do that tomorrow, during the late night live. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow evening to that show, and we will discuss a little bit about parlays towards the end, because I want to see the Bashi subline, and then I have some other props that I'd like to mix in with to create kind of the mythical parlay of the week that I'm feeling. And I'll probably have that written down for the weigh-in show when we re-bring up this template and talk about everything a final time. It's a UFC Apex card, which to me means play it with a sense of conservatism. All right. Not saying that it's not going to hit. I'm feeling damn good about Souza. I like the underdog lock a ton. I like the parlays a lot. I'm feeling great about them. I feel like we're on to something with UFC Vegas 108. And I feel like I've kind of perfectly calculated and crafted money parlays with great lock, great confident picks, the overs, the other favorite underdog, and whatnot to deliver something with a bang. I mean, even the contrary side of my picks and the props that I mentioned, I feel like have a decent shot of coming through. So UFC Vegas 108, it's a sneaky card, and it's also an underrated card. There's some very interesting matchups, and on the betting side, there's definitely some interesting opportunities to make some capital. Now, as I always say, don't blindly tail. Do your own research. See where your research lines up with mine for your best chance of success. But if you do blindly tail, 6 out of the past 7 weeks, the plus money lock's been hitting. So I'm bringing thunder consistently. But if you're throwing serious capital down, you should be doing your own research. Listen, the Savage underdog lock is my pick. My dog just walked in the fucking room. Look at that. Is that not destiny? I think it's destiny. I got the dog sitting right next to me now. It's destiny to happen. Ketlen Souza, it's a girl dog. She's got some dog in her. Ketlen Souza, the Brazilian Savage underdog lock. I believe in her, and I guess I'm superstitious, and I'm taking this as a net positive. Guys, I'm excited as hell. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments your Savage dog lock, or, you know, your parlay lock. Whatever your lock is for the card that's plus money. You can also drop some of your chalkier stuff too, the safe but boring calls. I want to hear from the people. So let me know down below if you got nothing to say. W in the comments to boost the algorithm for your boy. I love you all. Smash the likes. Hit that damn subscribe button. Turn the post notifications on, because you don't want to miss a video or live stream. And if you really enjoyed the content, share the video too. Share it with a friend. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your aunt. I don't know. Share it with your uncle. Whoever. Your father. Your brother. I know somebody in the fam's going to like it. All right? Love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.